I've been in the industry for 12 years. Not a short time, neither is it a very long time. I would say I'm kind of somewhere in the middle, right? I joined at 21 years old, but I'll share with you a little bit of backstory thereafter. And today I'm 33, so in my early 30s. I'm just a practitioner, like many of you. I run my sales daily. I'm recruiting, I'm growing my team. So I won't say I have the answer to everything. So I'm not here to share what to do, what's right. I'm here to share what I do. And perhaps some of the things I share with you could be taken back, and sometimes just one or two ideas could really give you the uplift that you need. So I was promoted to a leader in 2016 after 3 years. So what was I doing the first 3 years? I was in university. I was studying, minding my own business, doing sales on the ground daily. Then some of my friends saw that, hey, there's this guy who is sitting beside me in class, playing around in hall together, in whatever committee that we were participating. How come he also can do well here? So they also took the step to approach me, and that's how I recruited my first bunch of people. And in a way, agency building was never on my mind, or wasn't a deliberate goal, or something that happened by chance. And suddenly I have a bunch of people, and I had no choice but to quickly graduate and bring all of them together. So I moved up to AD in 2018, and I moved up to a tier 3, what we call FSD. Different companies have different terms, right? So I moved up to a tier 3 in 2019, 6 years after I joined, 3 years after I graduated, and I've been a tier 3 for the last 6 over years. Yeah, so that's my journey so far. I'm still figuring my things out as well, right? As with everyone here. So I've done 10 years of MDRT from the year I graduated in 16 all the way to this year. So just achieved my lifetime member. Out of the 10, 1 of it is COT, and then 5 of them are TOT qualifications. So I also do a lot of personal sales on my own. No big cases, just many small cases. I run a lot of activities as well. In the company, I think you can find out which company I'm from easily. You can just search me out. I'm very easily searchable on social media. So in 2021, I was the first run-up new FSD, and then 2022 was the first run-up FSD. For the past 2 years, I was the top FSD in the company. So right now, still running very hard for my final sprint. But before I became the person I am today, maybe I share with all of you some backstory. So this was a picture of me when I was very, very young, a toddler. That's my late dad. Then you may be wondering, where's my mom? I grew up in a single parent family. Yeah, so my dad wasn't a very easy person to get along, although he had very good intentions, but communication-wise may not be the best. So my mom couldn't stand him. 2 weeks old, she left home, and I have no relationship with her till today. So my dad was the one who worked odd jobs. He was not educated at all, and he didn't have like what we deem a proper job. For most of his life, he was a caddy at a golf club. Yeah, and my name was because someone played golf, dropped his name tag, and then he found the name tag and he decided to give me my name. Yes, yeah, that's the real story of how my English name came about. And in Singapore dollars, the household income was somewhere between $600 to $800. Yeah, so really, you divide by 2, that's bottom 3% for sure. And of course, as he was working full-time, earning very little money, he can't take care of a 2-week-old baby. So he handed me, he got the help of my aunt and my uncle, who are my foster family. So that's my aunt and uncle. They took care of me since I was 2 weeks old. They had 3 children of their own, so they are like my siblings till today. Yeah, so they treat me as their little brother. I grew up very simple household. No silver spoon, no spoon at all in my mouth. no enrichment class, no tuition, no sports lesson, nothing, right? Just a very, very normal and plain childhood growing up. So nothing, no privilege at all. And my foster family really gave me like everything, right? They had, even though they don't earn a lot. So my uncle worked in the factory during the manufacturing boom. Income was about $2,000 a month. My aunt doesn't work, take care of the 3 children, plus me, 3 plus 1. Yeah, so that was my background growing up. So of course, along the way, my dad, my real dad, he was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer when I was 18 years old, studying for A-levels, right? So when we were studying for A-levels, we got the news, it was stage 4, no integrated shield plan, only got MediShield Life, no life insurance, no critical illness insurance at all. DPS lasted till 60 back then. He passed on at 61, so I had nothing, right? Because he worked out jobs, no OA, no SA. I only left $5,000 in his MediSave, and that's like from the government top up. That was my inheritance. 2-bedroom, a 2-room HDB went to my mom. So they were never officially divorced, right? They were just separated their entire life. Then when you buy the HDB, if you are married, then you have to put your spouse name inside. So she contributed probably a few thousand in terms of OA contribution, but the house technically belongs to her, right? Because joint ownership. But at the very, very last moment, we managed to change it to tenancy in common. Then half willed to me, half went to my mom. Of course, I let her live inside there until the house was en bloc. Right, so all these mistakes, my family made all these mistakes when we were young. I grew up with no proper financial planning, no insurance. So I went through that difficult phase when I was 18 years old. In 6 months, my dad passed away. So that was super quick when I received my A-level results. Yeah, I had good enough grades to get into NUS Business School on my own merits, but he wasn't there to witness that. So that was my real dad. Then my foster dad was a very hardworking guy, very solid man. I learned a lot of values from him. A couple of years ago, also got stage 3 pancreatic cancer. And pancreatic cancer, usually when you diagnose, when the symptoms comes, is like stage 3. Yeah, so treatment didn't go well. He also passed on. So I lost a lot of family members to illnesses like this. And I really believe what we do here is very meaningful, very important. That's the reason why I joined this business. So after A-levels, got good grades, and I was a sports person my entire life. If you are physically fit, you can run very fast. You have advantage when you go to the military. Yeah, and of course in Singapore, if you can study and you can get good grades also. So I went to all the what we would deem top schools in Singapore. I went to Hwa Chong, I went to Victoria School after 2 years, then I went to Raffles Junior College. Right, then I got into NUS. So I can somehow, I was somehow blessed with the ability to study and get good grades. So if you are physically fit and you can study, a very obvious shortcut was to sign on with the military, which I did. So that was my way of getting from bottom 3% to maybe, if you do well in this career, you are a scholar, you'll be top 20-30%, correct? So that was maybe a 20-time increase for me. But during my time as a regular, although I was still a non-commissioned yet, I was still an officer cadet, certain observations made me decide that this is not the career that I would thrive the most in. And unfortunately, but now looking back, fortunately, I suffered a very serious ankle injury to my right ankle, tore a couple of ligaments during exercise. And I saw the opportunity to use that to really renegotiate or negotiated my way out of the regular contract. Yeah, so I went from having nothing to having everything, back to having nothing. Yeah. So I already have a uni placing, but now I have no scholarship to fund for that uni. I'm going to be graduating with debt and behind my peers for years, right? Because average uni grad takes a few years to pay off their debt. Yeah. Until that, and that was the period where I had to go. I went back to being an NSF and figured out what I wanted to do, and thankfully I found this career. So this is my team now. Share with you a little bit of my team growth. So you will see that, hey, whatever success there is today, I'm sure for many of you here, it's not overnight. None of us here are overnight success, but we all went through a long journey of up and down. Yeah. So in 2015, I recruited my first 4 agents. While I was in uni, they are my peers, they are my juniors who saw my growth as a friend. Yeah. Then 2016, I graduated. I started the agency with only 5 people. My production, because I was a full-timer, I graduated. My production, more than the 5 of them. Because all 5 of them still studying. Then 2017, I grew to 10 agents. I have 1 MDRT qualifier. Guess who's the MDRT qualifier? You. Yes, myself. So I have to always do it first. So I think after a while, if you hear my story, you kind of know my leadership style, right? And 2018, I rebranded my team to Odyssey. We grew to 12 agents, and then this time around, I inspired a few of them to also go for MDRT. So there's 4 MDRT qualifiers. 2019, I was promoted to a director, right? So a director leads a district, and now I have 5 agencies. That means I have 5 managers who promoted from my side, 24 agents, 7 MDRT qualifiers. Fast forward 2020, COVID year, promoted another leader, 6 agencies, 40 agents, 10 MDRT qualifiers, 1 TOT qualifier. So guess who's the TOT qualifier? Yes. Myself again. Very fun, must keep doing it myself first. But I'm okay with that. Then 2021, promoted another leader, went to 60 agent, 13 MDRT qualifier, 1 COT. So I dropped that year, kind of lost a bit of focus. Wasn't really proud of that. Right, as an agent, when you achieve MDRT, COT, TOT, you always want to maintain at that level. So I was a bit ashamed also. So I say, okay, next year I must get back my TOT. And I've done my TOT every year since then. So that's when I faced a lot of quite some problem also, because you saw that, hey, I have a lot of agents, right, from 40 become 60. In fact, the subsequent years, it went down. Yeah. So I recruited the wrong way, just blindly accepted everybody who wants to join, no filtering process. Then bring a lot of unproductive people, and when agents are not producing, what do? Like what the previous speaker, Magesh mentioned, they go lunch with each other. Yeah, then they spread toxicity within each other. So a lot of all these so-called cancer cells. So you have to cut all of them, ask all of them to leave. So I faced some setback as well. You must be willing to let go to go further sometimes, right? So I had to let go of 40 agents, let go of 20 agents. So from 60, I went down to 40, and I recruited back to 50-something. Yeah. Then I have 22 MDRT qualifier, 3 COT, and of course, for myself, I'm still the only remaining TOT qualifier. So sometimes, or rather, I realize all the time, right, in my leadership journey, 12 years here, 10 years as a leadership, 10 years as a leader, every time I go through a round of cut, my team productivity and total production shoot up. Always, every 2-3 years I do this, always go up. Yeah. So maybe that tells you something. So 2023, I went back to 60 agents. So I went 2 years, one big round of 2 years to go back to 60 agents. But now 60 agents, I got 30 MDRT. Yeah, and out of the 30 MDRT, 5 COT, 1 TOT. Then last year I had 35 MDRT qualifiers, 10 COT, and myself the TOT. This year my goal, this is my goal. So I have 9 agency leaders now. I have 2 who just applied for a promotion, so that would be 11. As of today, I have 79 agents, including me. So I would crossed my 80 mark. 40 MDRT qualifier as of end September, I have 20. So I need another 20 to achieve in the last quarter. Right? Many of them are like more than halfway there. 10 COT qualifier should be no problem. 3 TOT qualifier, I'm quite sure I have one more. So now I will have 2, including myself. The third one is a wild card, right? So if one of them close a super big case, hit TOT, that's fantastic. Otherwise, I may end up with 2. So that's also my journey so far. So as you can see from 2015 when I recruited my first bunch till now, it's a 10-year journey, right? It's not been easy. There's a lot of trial and error. I didn't come from somewhere where I had all the answer. So a lot of things I had to bang the wall myself and learn it the hard way. So perhaps I can share some of the things with you, right? So I won't share with you everything that, everything that I did well. I also can share with you some of the mistakes I made, even mistakes that I'm making right now. Okay, so first of all, if you are a tier 3, right, especially a director or your manager working very closely with your director, I'm sure all of us here want to build big. You're not here to build a 5-10 people team, right? You want to eventually have the vision to build bigger. So every team, you need to have very clear, return, vision, motto, mission, values, these 4 things. So that's for my team, right? So what's yours? So for example, vision, we want to be the pinnacle organization in the financial advisory industry. So if people think of who are the top agencies in the country, right, we are one of them right there at the top. Are we there yet? We are not there yet, but I'm pretty sure we are somewhere along the way there. Motto is guiding you through life's adventure. So be it a new agent who just graduated or undergrad starting their first career, or someone who worked 2-3 years now embarking on a new journey, right? We are with them every step of the way. Or it could be a prospect or client embarking on their financial planning journey. We are also there with them every step of the way. That's our motto, right? Of course, our mission is for people, and then we have values. Values, if you have very strong values that you all talk about, you all embody all the time, you don't need 8 or you don't need 10. I think 3 to 5 is a very good number of values, right, to hold closely to. Okay, so I was, usually I do this sharing now mostly for agency building these days, but I was also, people also requested for me to share some of my personal figures, right? So I'll just share them openly here. Yeah, so I digged out from 2017, right? So these are all the number of cases I do per year. So if you see, I do averagely around 200 plus cases a year. So I don't do one super big case, one case MDRT. I don't have that kind of cases. It's really your whatever you do on a normal basis, Shield PA, term, CI, life, endowment, investment, single premium, SRS, right? I do all these things on the ground, right? I do this almost like every day of my life, as long as I'm in Singapore. So people always ask me, hey, Kev, how do you plan your schedule, right? What's your day-to-day or week-to-week schedule? So maybe I can share with you. Anything I do, I always ask myself this question: is this sustainable forever or for a very long time? If it's not, then I will not do it. Right? So whatever I share with you is something that I can do. Those who know me know that I can do this every day. I won't get burned out. And I'm very consistent. So one of my goals is to achieve MDRT by FYC every quarter. Right? So that's a feedback. So let's say, for example, this quarter I achieve above MDRT. I will just refresh myself from 0 the next quarter. So as a sales leader, I know then I know what I do works right now on the ground, right? And I'm in the same market as my agents. I know the difficulties they face, and I know how to help them to overcome. And also inspires them also that if I can do it, they can also do the same thing. So this is how my schedule looks like. Also got 3 color, yeah, right? But my 3 color very simple. Green color just means client, sales, yeah, sales, right? Then yellow color means non-sales. So most, as an agency director at this level, the amount of time I have for sales is probably somewhere between 30 to 50% of my work time. Yeah, then 50 to 70% of my work time, depending on the season, got nothing to do with sales. I'm sure you all know agency leader got how many more other responsibilities to do, correct? Yeah. Then the blue color are my personal time. So either I set aside for my partner, my family, myself, or even my own fitness. I think the fitness is also, if you look at a lot of successful entrepreneur, fitness is one thing. Health, fitness is something at the very, very top of their priority. Because how do you go on forever if your own body is not in a good state, correct? So for me to be able to do the work I do every day to value add to a lot of people, I must make sure I take care of myself well first. So I set very good, I always have 4 or 5 workouts a week. Yeah, I do various things. So you see green color, those are all clients. Yeah, so I don't really eat lunch with colleagues, yeah, unless I'm doing a celebratory lunch for my producers, etc. So how do I split? I'm quite a structured and systematic person, as you can see over the presentation, the sharing later. So I split my week into weekdays and weekends. Yeah, I'm okay to work a bit on weekends. I think I'm at the phase whereby, since long ago, I don't really treat this as work. Yeah, if you really, really enjoy, you're passionate about what you do, doesn't feel like work. I have what Margesh called higher purpose, right? Why I want to do this. So my weekdays, I set between 15 to 20 work meetings. So what do I mean by work meetings? If I meet a client, obviously that's a work meeting, correct? Or I'm doing an interview for a potential new recruit, I'm having a management meeting, I'm doing a sharing like this, I'm value adding to the community, and I believe that when I give, I always get in return one way or another. So anything that is I can classify as work, I will put it, I count that as one. So every day I'll have 3 to 4 3 to 4. So maybe morning, lunch, after lunch, dinner, or maybe no dinner. So 3 to 4. That's why in a week I'll have 15 to 20. Then on my weekends, I don't work. My weekends evenings are definitely free, right? So weekends I normally split into two days. So first day I'll have morning, lunch, after lunch. The second day I would have morning, lunch, that's it. Yeah, and that can swap either Saturday, Sunday. Right? So that's how I manage this level consistently. And I still have enough time for my own family, my own personal hobbies, etc. Right? So whatever I do, I can do it forever, no problem. I'm happy doing it forever. So why do I say I work hard when I'm in Singapore? If you have been following my IG, you have been following me closely, you know that I have, a passion to also explore the world, to travel. And I do this I travel about 80 days thereabout per year. Yeah, so 70 plus to 80 plus days per year. So that's about 20% of the time I'm not physically in Singapore. So when my body knows that when I'm in Singapore, it's work mode all the way, right? I cannot waste a single day. I cannot waste half a day. I need to do productive things so that I can go and enjoy myself somewhere in the world when the time comes, right? So that's my travel schedule. So most recent was Norway. I'm going to Shanghai end of the month, and I'm going to New York over Christmas. Okay, share with you a recent event that happened and a little bit of mindset behind it, just a small episode. So while on my travel, one of my trips in April, this was in Guangzhou. This was in Chongqing, right? You can see the right ankle was okay. Right? The right ankle was the one that I tore my ligaments, multiple ligaments when I was in NS, and then I got out of course and found this career. Now you can see the other side, the left ankle. You can see it's clearly swollen. Ended up in a wheelchair, did a surgery. So what actually happened? Right. So, oops, it's circled wrongly. Yeah. So now I injured my left ankle, and I tore the same ligament on my left compared to my right ankle. How many? That's like 13, 14 years ago. And one ligament complete tear, 2 ligament partial tear, had blood clot and swelling. Yeah. So that was 17 April. Injury happened. 18 April, I flew back to Singapore. I checked myself into a 24-hour spa because I can't move about in China. A week later, I had a trip to London. But by 18 or 19, I knew I had a ligament tear, right? But this time round, for me, I was way better able to handle it. Why? Because I went through the same thing 14 years ago. So sometimes, like all these setbacks, challenges, right? You may think, wow, it's very painful at that point in time. Why does this happen to me? But somehow it prepares you for perhaps the same or bigger challenge many years later. So now imagine you have a ligament tear. You tear a meniscus, ligament fracture. How would you feel, correct? Oh, and you have so many trips coming up. But I was not very, it was painful for sure, right? Anyone who has torn ligaments, meniscus fracture, you know how painful it was. But I had a trip to London. I didn't want to miss my holiday. Yeah, so of course I managed myself. I didn't do the surgery immediately. And then between April to May, there was a month. Within this month, a lot of agency activities, right? We run a lot of client events, team events, so I couldn't make the surgery. And then after I came back from Bangkok in end May, I was available to do a surgery, but my surgeon was away on a family holiday until 8 June. So I had to do my surgery on 9 June. I conducted my team agency monthly meeting in the morning. Then I checked in myself to Mount E, to do the surgery. And from the day of surgery, 3 weeks later, I have 3 back-to-back trips. And one of it was to share with 300 agents in another country. That invited me to go and share. 300 agency leaders. So, sometimes, right, when all this adversity, all these big things happen, a lot of people give themselves a lot of excuses. It was very easy for me to, because of my ligament tear, just cancel everything. Say, make a very big deal out of it, right? Or I could, but I know my mission, my purpose is so strong, right, that I know that, like, I'm going to work around this. When I had my surgery here, right, I know that 21 days from the day of surgery, I need to be in Tokyo Disney Sea. And, you can't be running around Disney Sea, Disneyland with limping or with a cast. So how do you get back to full mobility within 21 days? I managed to do that. Yeah, but if you ever are in that situation, you want to know, then you let me know. Right? I can tell you how I did it. I was back to running in 30 days. I was off my cast and walking normally in 5 days. Yeah, after an ankle ligament recon surgery. Okay, but that's a bit of the mindset stuff. So, share with you more about agency building stuff from here on. Okay, so when we are new agent, all our leader will pass us the book by Norman Levine, all right? Then they say, productivity of an agent equals to activity times skills times knowledge. If your activity is 0, no matter how, some agents very smart, right? Know every single word in the product summary and the contract, but cannot sell, right? No activity. So your agent's income equals to these 3 things: activity, skills, knowledge. How you pitch, how you handle objection, etc., and of course how well you know your product in this case. So we are not going to touch on that, right? Here we are talking about agency building. So productivity of agency equals to your recruitment. How well can you convince people to join you? Times productivity of your agent, obviously, and times your retention. So what's the point of recruiting so many if all the agents leave you after 6 to 12 months? Because they all fail, correct? So retention is the part that a lot of people cannot get it right. And I think I've gotten that right to a large degree. Yeah, but of course, you'll never be 100%. If you are 100%, I think something wrong with your agency. Means probably people who are not performing are still around, correct? So this is a formula for a successful agency. Okay, first question. Why would people join your agency? They join an agency because they want to join an agency because of 3 reasons. First reason, you have a good system that can help agent be productive, correct? So just like if you have a good way to help your client to retire earlier, to be well protected, of course you're going to get a lot of business. It won't be so difficult to convince people to join or convince people to buy from you. Number 2, in our business, number 1 way of growth and the 100% sustainable way forever to grow is referral. So in agency building, it's no different, correct? So you continuously have people aspiring to move into leadership role. That will ensure your agency grow the fastest. So it's very tiring if it's only all the leaders. Maybe your agency has 3, 4, 5 leaders and it's only the few people recruiting. It will be very, very hard to grow. But if you have another 10, 20 agents who aspire to move up to be leader for whatever reason or purpose, then you will have a very strong recruitment culture. So recruitment is not just the leaders, right? Just like your success of a business, you need to tell your clients that you won't be able to last long here and be very successful if only they buy from you. They also need to, if you do a good job, it will also be good for them to introduce you to their loved ones, their close friends, correct? So same thing. Agent referral is important, but it's even stronger if the agent themselves want to move up. So you need to create that. And of course, in today's digital world, it's a content world going forward. So if yourself, your agency, you're not online, when a candidate meet you for recruitment, they don't just meet you. They will meet 3, 4, 5 other agencies, right? And then they will find the leader, they will find your people, they will find your agency online. So if you don't have a presence on all the platforms, you're going to lose out big time. 100%. Okay, I guarantee you, everybody will search you and your agency online these days. So if you don't have that, then maybe that's the first step you need to take for your team. And the pages needs to be active as well. All right. So what do you mean by good system to help the agent do well? Okay, let me share with you some of my agency ecosystem. I have a lot of, as you can tell, I'm very systematic, so I have a lot of system. But you don't have to do all of it because it will be very daunting to sometimes you want to do 10 things, but you can't do 10 things together, right? Maybe you need to do 1 or 2 things first. So I'll share with you what I do, but I'll also share with you what are one or two things you need to do first if you don't have that in your team right now. So we have an internship program for students who want to explore the career. And if they're interested, they'll move on to the next stage, which is our academy program. Newcomers come in, pass paper. You can't depend on your company training only, correct? You need to have your own training, which is a lot more rigorous. So you're here of the first 60 day, first 100 day, first 90 day, first 6 months, whatever. The first 3 to 6 months of an agent's life with you is super important to inculcate the habit, right? Just like you have a kid, the first 1-2 years, that's the most important time to train their development. When you have a pet, right? Past 1 year, 1-2 years, it's very hard to train them to do all the commands, etc. So you need to do it early on. So we have a rigorous training program. Later I'll share with you what we do. And then we have, after the training program, because our agency, we also recruit students. So students will go to a program for our students to still hold them, at least hold them to some extent, but not so rigorous compared to a full-timer. So our full-timer program, once they finish our training program, they come to our full-time program. My baseline for a full-timer is MDRT. That has always been very clear from day one. If you are not even MDRT, then there's no point being here as a full-time agent, correct? Yeah. So that's our first level program. But that could be your second. You have to adapt accordingly to your style. And then we have a program after that, when people graduate from the first level program, to help to hone them towards double MDRT or triple MDRT, which is COT. Yeah, and all these programs are led by COT and above producers or agency leaders. So one of our selling points, imagine you're a very new agent, right? You just pass some SIMPAS paper and join. Where got your training program, right? Everybody teaching you are COT producers and above. So that is one of the selling points for my agency, right? So how will you pitch to your new recruit, new candidate who are coming in? And of course, we have a program at the highest that develop leaders. So all of us are leaders here. Some of us, including myself, probably when we become leader, then you realize that, wow, it's a different ball game altogether. Just like you pass SIMPAS paper, you learn about product pitch, and the day you get coded and you need to do the sales, it's completely different, correct? So us moving into agency management is kind of like a new job entirely. And a lot of producers fail as leaders because they cannot adapt to this new job. So we need to have a program to hone those who are aspiring leaders, right? To give them some roles, some responsibilities, some coaching, opportunities, so that they can play the role at least halfway before they become a AL themselves. So this is my full entire agency ecosystem. Okay, however, if let's say for yourself, your team, you all don't recruit students from uni, and you know that this market is very resource intensive, right? Not just money, but hours, manpower as well. So if you're not in there, then you can immediately just skip this and this. Then that leaves you with the other four. The most important would be these two, right? All of you need to have a new agent training program, right? That can help them get to a certain level of competency by the time they start their day one here. So you can't depend on your respective company 2-day, 3-day training program, or the 2 hours a week times how many weeks to train them to the level that can achieve MDRT. Most likely it will not happen. And the fact is that most of the company trainers, they are also not practitioners on the ground on a daily basis, correct? So it's different from a COT or you teaching them and you are the one on the ground every day. So, and the second thing is, of course, have a program for newcomers. What's the point of you teaching them everything, imparting them all your skills, all your knowledge, then they come in, they forget everything, they don't practice, correct? So after your whatever 1-2 month training program, they come in, you need to continually hone whatever you need to hold them close and continually hone whatever you taught them, and of course continue to teach them more to be better every day. So the first 6 months, it could be 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, that period of a new agent is super important. If they come in and they are very slack, they are very free, then it will just go downhill from there, right? The problem will just compound. Then you just wasted a recruit. You're not doing them justice also. So this is a real training program from my side. So you can see my academy, which is new FC training program, has 7 weeks. So every week we have a couple of pillars. Of course, we teach them products, right? Not really about the product they can study and we'll quiz them, but we teach them how to pitch, how to angle the key starter pack products, your standard shoe, life, etc. Right? Endowment, investment. Then we also get them to do their activity, right? So they have to identify their warm, their cold, and do outreach. But they cannot sell yet. They cannot advise. But can you do outreach? Can you gather interest? Can you ask some questions to have a better idea of where this person stands in terms of meeting you? Obviously, you can do that, right? And we also hone a lot of their mindset as well. Mindset, quite a key component. Initially, we didn't pay too much attention to this area, but I realized that for you guys who are recruiting younger agents, you all know the mindset not really there, correct? So you need to train the mindset as well. And of course, the last thing would be the skill set. So whatever pitch you teach them, how to do an opening presentation, how to pitch certain ideas of products, how to objection handle, how to ask for referral. All these things we will role play in between the sessions. So they will have so we have group sessions every week for 3 hours to teach them all these things. And then all the new recruits, they will also have one-to-one with their agency leaders in between the lessons to do all the role play. So that's how we train someone for 7 weeks. So by the time they come in, day one, just got coded, they can run already, right? And not like after they come in, then, oh, now what do we do? So do you have a new agent training program that is rigorous and robust, right? That's the first question for your agency. Okay, anyway, this is just a student program. So student, we have lower benchmark for them. Not no standard, but lower standard for them. Because if you want to be in student market, most of them are not going to join you first year and do MDRT. There are some like that, but most of the time they're going to give you 15K FYC a year, 20K FYC a year. That's very good already. Then they'll graduate, and then maybe they flourish after a while, right? So you cannot push them out too quickly just because they cannot perform. You need a lot of patience here, and we have a program for catered to students. Okay, but let me skip that. So this program for our new consultant, we call it HOLOS. HOLOS stands for holistic, all right? Yeah. So we continue to hone their technical skills, their soft skills, their mindset, accountability, consistency, and how do they graduate from this program? Okay, they need to do approximately 25% of MDRT target per quarter for 2 consecutive quarters. Then we said, okay, you are able to graduate from this program and have more freedom. So people in this program, we meet every Monday morning, early morning, and then they are also held accountable to certain activities by end of the week, reflection, etc. But we are very clear we don't want people to be here for more than a year. Yeah. So most of them will get out within 2-3 quarters. They'll just we don't want people to also achieve MDRT because of one big case. So if they are not consistent, then they will remain inside. So you must at least do about 25% of MDRT target for 2 consecutive quarters, right? But yes, worked for me for the past few years, but just share with you, the problem with this is that some people are there for very long because they just cannot do it. Yeah, they are just maybe a little bit below the benchmark each time. So we are revamping to make it like a set time frame, like perhaps 10 weeks. For those guys, for all the guys, if you know, you go to BMT a certain number of weeks, then it's intensive, you finish it, and then you go to, say, your next phase of training, and then that another 10 to 20 weeks you finish that training. Yeah, so we intend to change it to that form, but we are still in the works of it. So I can also share with you what I do and what I'm going to do going forward. Right, and we do weekly accountability with my team. So I do weekly accountability with my leaders, and my leaders do weekly accountability with their agency, and this goes on every week. Yeah, why do you need to do this? Because, you know, sometimes when an agent is not in a good space, you leave it aside, you leave him or her aside for a month or two, they kind of go down the spiral too much. It's very hard to save. But by meeting weekly, talking about our challenges, if the FC every week say they want to do this, they want to do this, they want to do, for 2-3 weeks, right, the leaders will be able to catch the sign already, correct? Then you must intervene early. So if you intervene early, then you can prevent or you can mitigate the downward spiral. So you need to catch your agent going downhill before they go downhill, right? So that's very important. That's why we do weekly accountability. In crunch time, you may practice daily accountability, but most of the time, normal time, I recommend weekly, right? So you've got 52 feedback a year. If you only do monthly, you only got 12 feedback a year. So that's monthly definitely not enough. You won't be successful. Okay, second pillar, continually have people aspiring to move up to leadership position. So that's our highest tier program. Just share with you a little bit, we get a lot of the leaders who come in to share with this group what are their challenges, what are their like strength as an agency leader, how they run their agency. So they have many perspectives. Of course, there are some deliverable, right? Every program must have some deliverable. We want to help them recruit 2% a year so that in 2 years they can become an AL. Yeah, so it's a longer journey for this group. And of course, we have some FYC requirements, etc., etc. So all these I'll just gloss past, right? And thirdly, strong brand presence and recruitment process. Okay, so this is what's going to happen when you meet a new candidate, right? They're definitely going to search. So if you are a new candidate, you search my team, myself on IG, TikTok, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, you'll be able to find us. And that's what, if you don't have that, then you'll need to invest to build that. Otherwise, you're going to fall behind. So when I started this business 12 years ago, correct? At that period, if you are on social media and you're active, you have an advantage because most people don't do it. Today, if you are not on social media and not doing it actively, then you are at a disadvantage because most people are actively doing it, right? So that's the first thing you need to do. Okay, then just have a very clear recruitment process. So you need to be very clear, all your people need to have clarity. If I refer someone, what is the process, correct? So every single one of your leader and agent must know what is the recruitment process. It's not difficult, it's not rocket science. Just have a very clear written down process for everyone to understand. So if a consultant has a potential recruit, right? Like friend want to join the business or he thinks got potential, the consultants only got one job. The job of the FSC, right? We tell them, as of now, you don't need to pitch the career. That's our job as your leaders to do it for you. All you need to do as a FC is to get the person interested and open to meet your agency leader. That's all you need to do as a FC. And the easiest way to do is to share a personal story. Why you joined this business, how well have you done, how has this agency and leaders helped you. That's all, right? Then the candidate will go to my agency leader, the tier 2. Tier 2 will do the first interview. So filter first lah. If the tier 2 thing is good, this person is good, then the tier 2 will send to me. I will do the second interview. Basically, the AL do the opening, okay, if the candidate come from the tier 1, the tier 1 do the opening, the tier 2 do the presentation. For me, tier 3, I do the closing. Right? So after they meet me, they will usually take the next step, either to sign up for recruitment seminar, take exam, start onboarding, whatever lah, right? So I'm the one that do the closing. So I do the closing for exams. They take the exam. Exam is a good gauge also. If somebody failed the exam like 20 times, they know that this person may not be suitable, right? Because don't know whether the person know the product or not. They maybe misrepresent the product, the client. So after that, they will go to our post-exam training program, and then they are contracted. We will close monitor them for 6 to 12 months. So this is the entire process before a person is coded, right? So do you have a clear process of what everybody's job is? Okay, so I shared with you some recruitment strategy that we employ. If you are in a team where your tier 2, tier 3 everybody is aligned, right? That's the tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. That's the best. Otherwise, you may have some challenges executing some of these things. So number 1, tier 2 and tier 3, everybody must keep selling each other. That's the key, right? So the tier 1, the agent must sell their AL, sell their team. How good is this leader? How good is this team? They must do that. In the tier 2, right, when meet me, right, when the tier 2 meet the candidate, they need to, of course, reel the candidate in more, correct? And they need to sell me to the maximum. They need to say that Kev was the one who brought us in, started this whole thing, and he's very visionary, and he has this eye for talent. If he thinks you can do it, you probably can do it. If he thinks you cannot, then he will be very honest to let you know. So we are all very well trained by him. So if he tell you he can, you confirm can one. right? So they'll tell the candidate something along this line. So when the candidate meet me, whatever I say will be the word, right? So you need to, the two level below need to help me, right, to frame first, for me to help them back. So you see how recruitment is a team effort overall. If you are one person pitching everything and doing all the training and fighting all the battles with against all the other agency, is very, very difficult. Yeah, so you need alignment throughout your team. Number two, I see some leaders logging into their system, helping their candidates sign out exam, then help them book training, help them book foundation program. Don't do any of these things. Just centralize everything, right? You have 4 or 5 leaders recruiting. Just centralize everything, hire someone. This someone follow up on all the exam, right? Help candidate book, rebook, need to postpone exam, fail, encourage them, pass, encourage them. Yeah, just hire someone to do that process, okay, for you, and to help your candidate, hold your candidate close. So you just focus on finding the people and pitching the career, and not bother yourself and the rest of your fellow leaders with all these administrative things. Cut all these things out, and you know that the process of onboarding is not like signing a shoe plan. It's very, very, very tedious, right? So just outsource that part entirely. Number 3, this was the mistake I made. I was not daring enough to drop people that I think are not suitable and not aligned to the team's culture and vision. So sometimes leaders, we cannot be too nice. I was too nice, right? Let's say I'm a director, I have a new manager. This new manager only got 4 people, want to recruit 1 more, I say no, very cruel, correct? But if sometimes the person really cannot, I need to just tell the leader this person really cannot. Yeah, so you must be willing to drop people, and your people below you must be understanding why this person really cannot. So the tier 2s under me, they are very well trained, like what kind of people we want. So those who are not suitable, they will not bring to me in the first place, right? So you need alignment throughout, yeah, and work together. Recruitment is a super team game. You need to play the team game. Otherwise, you are fighting an uphill battle. Okay, so I share with you some of my team structure, okay? You don't have to copy full out at the start, but at least you have some idea. So for my sales team, that means the agency, basically the agency. I have employees also, correct? So the agency, I'm the main person. Then all the green are led by the agency leaders, or either they are by an agency leader. No, green are all senior agency leaders, right? So all the more experienced agency leaders lead the green color portion. Then the bottom are all either junior leaders or senior FCs will lead the different committee. Okay, but I'm also making a little bit of change here. So there was a time a couple of years ago whereby we have feedback from the ground that, hey, the leaders are the one putting in so much effort and doing all the initiative. Then all the agents, we just want, our mindset was, we just want the agent to run the sales. So we hire a lot of admin, we hire a lot of staff, right? And leaders put in money, put in time together with staff. We host all the event, run every initiative. Then our idea is just agent do sales. Then it wasn't good because all the agent feedback that we don't have a stake in building the team. So we went, sometimes you see 2 extreme also not good. So we made a major change. We said that, okay, now let's give everybody a role. Yeah, so we went the other extreme. Everybody was very happy also actually because we took their feedback. So now the whole 40, 50 people, everybody has a role. Either they are in a committee or leading a committee or leading a division. So everybody very happy. But after a while, we realized got issue also. Yeah, because this kind of role, right, I think is good if the newest person who just come on board, who needs to do FYC, don't get involved first. Yeah, so we are also making the change so that we can streamline some of the departments and divisions. Only if FCs come in, they have done well for a while, then we talk to them to see whether they are willing to contribute and where can they contribute, and then we put them in those places to let them flourish, right? To let them hone their, do their contribution. So don't involve everybody. Involve people of a certain level. So people need to feel that this is a privilege, right? They are not like, oh, I come in, I get dumped into this, this committee. I have no choice. Yeah. So make it a privilege to be able to contribute. I think that would be better. Okay. So I'm going to make that switch from next year onwards for my team. Okay, so I have a support team. My support team they are all employees, right? So they are all employees, they all pay a salary, but they support us. They are kind of like our team also, but they are not coded agents lah. So I have an ops manager who is also my direct PA. She's my main. Then under her, they are all the staff lah. So we have quite a number of PAs who serve the leaders, the senior agents. And then we have centralized HR, centralized marketing, centralized training, and centralized partnership. Partnership, if you do a lot of collab, you need to talk to external party, vendors, etc. So we need someone to do that. HR, for obvious reason, if you are recruiting a lot of people. Marketing, any decent agency need to spend some money on marketing, right? And you need an in-house representative. You can outsource some of the job to external agency. And training exec to assist all the leaders and senior agents to train the people. You need to do slides, book meeting room, record the session, yada yada, right? So it's better to centralize all these functions. Okay, last few slides. So I always get this question, hey Kev, what are some of the leadership strengths you have that make you do well here? I wouldn't say like I'm at the top of the top. Like I said, I'm also on a journey with everyone here, but I think there are certain, so I also need to reflect, what are the things that make me do better, right, in this industry compared to most people. And I identified 4 of them. Yeah, so first one, I think I'm not a very good, like, powerful speaker, motivator, super inspirational. I'm also improving on that, but I've learned over the years that the best way I lead is always I lead by example. Yeah, so I do my production, I grow the team, I grow the business, and I also never neglect my health lah. I got PT, I got Pilates coach, I have golf coach. I am my own running coach because I do that for my whole life, right? Yeah, so I do this. Number 2. By nature, I'm a very micro manager, right? So I need to fight my nature. So I need to learn to be macro. So for some people, they are by nature macro. That's great for them. But usually they have problem with system, right? These kind of leaders, they are very inspirational, but they have issues with system. I got no issue with systemic thinking, but I need to not go too much into it. So my job as a tier 3, as a leader, is to set the direction, the vision for the organization. But I cannot be doing every single job and micromanaging every single area. Then I cannot grow. So my job is really to put the right people in the right place and give them the autonomy and trust that they can get the job done. If they cannot, then of course I need to switch the people around, right? So I need to empower my people to be able to make decisions. Effective time and energy management, how to do so many things. All of us only got 24 hours a day. I need to sleep 7 a day. Yeah, I don't need to sleep a lot, but I need 7 a day to function. So I only left with 17 hours, right? So of course I need to have multiple assistants lah, for agency building, for client, for my own personal marketing, team marketing. I outsource a lot of my things. You need to delegate most tasks and only do the most essential ones that cannot be outsourced. I cannot outsource advising my client. Correct? I cannot outsource meeting this recruit that I'm challenging against another agency. Yeah. So this kind of critical thing, I need to be there. But can I outsource a proposal for the customer? Right? I can do that easily. So you need to outsource a lot. Plan downtime strategically to perform at a consistently higher level. And of course, like, maintain momentum. So momentum is king in this business. Agree? You see people queue for MDRT. Then first 3 months of the year, they disappear. They come back. It takes a long while for them to come back again. So as a AL, I cannot because everything flows down from me. So I need to know as a leader, once I lose momentum, once I go downhill, my tier 2 go downhill, my tier 1 go downhill, everybody, the whole agency goes downhill. So I cannot. So even though I travel so much, right, I make sure that I work until the day I leave. Yeah. If my flight is at night, I will have a meeting in the morning, at least on morning, afternoon. And if, during my travel, right, I can accept that I do a little bit of work. So let's say in an average day, I work somewhere between 8 to 10 hours. When I travel, I can work about 1 to 2 hours a day. I'm okay. And these are usually during commute or at the start of the day or the end of the day. I reply some email, some of the things that I can do it so that when I come back from a 1 week trip, I don't have a 20 hours backlog, right? I can accept that. So you must be able to accept some of the downside of the job so that you can function. So I'm perfectly okay with that. And I always set all the appointments from right after I'm back. So if I have a flight that lands in the afternoon, maybe I take the evening off, but next day morning I'm back to my usual routine. So a 1 week holiday to me is a 1 week holiday, right? A 1 week holiday to most agents is a 3 week holiday. Correct? 1 week before the trip, they go into holiday mode. Yeah, I need to go and buy this thing, buy that thing for my trip, right? Then they plan my trip. They go for the trip, they totally switch off, they come back, I'm still in holiday mode. I wish I was still in New Zealand somewhere, correct? Yeah. So 3 weeks, correct? So I can travel, that's why I can do all these things and still be very productive because I don't have all this unnecessary downtime. And last thing, okay? Last slide before we go to Q&A. So effective communication. The kind of old school leadership, right? My way or the highway, or throw stuff at people, make them stand on a chair, scold them in front of everyone. They don't work anymore, right? So you need to know that you need to have a safe space for people to be able to feedback. Why? Why is this so important? Because if you cannot say stuff to you, who they say stuff to? They say stuff to each other, correct? And then they talk amongst themselves, nobody can solve the problem for each other. So you want to have a safe space that the agents, they have any issue, they hear things, they come to the leaders can talk amongst ourselves. So we are all adults, we are all objective. We don't, we don't want all these gossips, all this, the killer of a silent killer of an agency, right, is behind the leaders and all these gossips going around, very cancerous. Right? All these people, you have to cut them, ASAP. And this one, very important. Be clear of who is responsible for seeing each initiative. But of course, it's not that if things go wrong, who to blame. That's not the culture. We don't want to blame anybody, right? But people need to know very clearly what each person is responsible for, what I'm responsible for, so I do that part of my job for the team. But if nobody knows, if everybody is all over the place, then nobody knows who's supposed to do what, then it's just chaos, right? So effective communication, not amongst the entire team, tier 1 to tier 2, tier 1 to tier 3, tier 2 to tier 1, is very important amongst the team if you are building your agency up. All right? So that concludes my sharing. I hope in the 1 hour you have learned at least 1 or 2 things that you can take away to your agency building.